On tonight's episode of the Libra Lounge with Keisha, we talk Jussie Smollett, Conor McGregor, Portia Williams, and the college robbery scandal that's taking over Hollywood. Plus, I'll have pop culture and movie expert Mike Navarro sit in, and we're going to break down the new horror flick, Us. This is the Libra Lounge with Keisha. Welcome to the Libra Lounge with Keisha, everyone. Okay, so before we kick things off, I'm having, I don't know, I've developed another speech impediment. You all know that I have a list, but I've been totally tongue-tied tonight. And someone in the studio just actually offered me weed because I've messed up so many times, but we're going to make it through drug-free. We're very happy to announce one of our new show sponsors, Classic Bar by Sherry at the studio at Femme Fatale. You're going to hear more about what Sherry offers a little bit later on during the show. But first, I want to jump into this Jussie Smollett case. I think a couple of weeks ago, I swore I was not going to even mention this case anymore, but a big turn of events happened this week. All 16 felony charges against the Empire star have been dropped. Yes, that is correct. Dropped. Now, I'm going to quickly recap the story. Jussie Smollett said that he was attacked by two white men who were wearing a MAGA, the MAGA hat, who supposedly called him the N-word, called him a faggot. It was a double hate crime. Lots of things went on. A lot of shit wasn't adding up right. And then come to find out, it appeared as though Jussie hired two of the extras from Empire to, what were they, Nigerian, Ugandan?
Dark.
Two dark brothers, not black brothers, but like they're blood brothers, like they're related, they have the same last name, to stage this attack. But luckily for Jussie, because I 125%, I sound like one of them bitches on Maury. I'm 125% sure he is a baby daddy. I'm sure that Jussie really did this, but the Chicago Police Department fucked up majorly with this. I think they assumed this case was going to be a slam dunk. So they just did some stupid things. They didn't follow proper protocols. There was even issues with the hospital that Jussie went to several hours after his alleged attack. People were in there. The staff was in there taking pictures of him, looking through his medical records. So I think that they didn't really have much of a choice but to drop all of these charges. It's good to be light-skinned, ain't it, Jussie? It's good to be light-skinned. So he is getting away with all of this. All he has to do is community service, and he has to fork over. I don't understand what this really means. It says that he has to, I think the wording was forfeit the $10,000 bail that he had to pay. So what does that mean? He has to pay the whole $10,000?
I think he had to pay the $10,000 for the bond to be out of jail. And I think they're not going to give that back. So.
Okay, that sounds about right. So a lot of people are saying, yay, he got off. But what does this mean for his career? Here's the thing. If you followed this story and you looked at it from a non-biased approach, regardless of what nationality or what race you are, no matter if you're gay or straight, if you really look at all the facts, it appears as though Jussie really did this. But thankfully, the great police department of Chicago just gave him a free ride, basically, because, community service, to me, if he picks the right places to go and do community service, he's going to rebuild his reputation. So if he goes somewhere and he volunteers with kids, teaches them about music and acting, everyone's going to fall in love with him again.
I think I also saw where on the new episode of Empire, like all his parts were put back in. Like he played a major part in the premiere.
Well, he was one of the main stars. When I did watch, here's the thing, Empire was really good the first 3 seasons. And then it just kind of went off. But I watched it because of his character, Jamal. so yeah, he was one of the more popular characters on the show. So I guess we'll see. I think his career will suffer a bit because I'm sure I'm not the only person who believes that he really did this, but I guess we'll see. Another surprise was that this is your boy, the King of Ireland, Conor McGregor, announced that he's going to retire from MMA fighting. I mean, what else can you do, Conor? You can barely talk. So why are you going to retire?
What do you mean barely talk?
He can barely talk.
He is the best talker since Muhammad Ali, as far as
shit talking.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. I don't see Conor McGregor doing commercials.
Oh, he'll do tons of commercials. He's doing commercials already.
Where?
All over Ireland, all over the UK.
Ireland, because they understand that jibber jabber that he speaks. People in America, we don't understand what the hell Conor is saying. I understand Conor better when he's in the ring out of breath and trying to talk than I do when he's just trying to do an interview. He can't talk. I don't get it. What he gave no explanation on why he's retiring. And I love Conor. I love him. He's cocky. He's cute. But he's an attention whore.
Well, he is. But I think he retired because he's done everything he can in the sport. I mean, he's been a multiple champion at multiple weights. He destroyed people for a long, long time. And frankly, I think people have figured out how to beat him. Mm-hmm. So he's doing kind of like what Ronda Rousey should have done, mm-hmm. which was get out after
old Ronda Rousey and her angry vagina face.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I mean, he's done boxing. He can do pro wrestling. He'll do something, maybe even acting.
Right, he's not just going to go away.
Oh, Lord, no.
I guess we'll see what Conor does next. I think he's got another baby on the way.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably, I'm guessing acting.
Well, he has been getting in trouble with the law recently, so maybe he's just going to retire, take a break, hopefully marry this girl he's been engaged to for like 20 years. She's giving you 2 kids. Go ahead and marry the bitch.
Yeah, that's very not Irish of him.
Right, because Irish are Catholic and they believe in, family and breeding and all that good stuff. So I guess best of luck to you, Conor. I mean, you can always come and be my co-host on the Libra on Keisha show. I won't be mad at you. Luck of the Ireland. Luck of the Ireland.
Wow.
Luck of the Irish.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
It's tongue of the tide is what
tongue of the tide. See... Do I need to Google search what you just said? Because you know how you make things up and tell me, oh, this is really what it is. And then I Google search and you lied.
No, tongue of the tide
means what?
You've been tongue-tied.
I've been tongue-tied all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. Okay, so Real Housewives of Atlanta and the Queen of Thoughtopia, Portia Williams gave birth to her baby girl. Yeah, it seemed like Portia was pregnant for like a very long time. The baby came in at about 6 pounds and she named her Pilar Janae, which explains why she's been calling the baby while in utero PJ. We just all assumed it was a cute little nickname for, Portia Jr., but her name is Pilar. I'm really glad she gave her that name. It's cute. It's nothing stupid like Boom Keisha. She didn't name her after a car. I mean, in none of the shit that I would expect Portia to name her kid. So Pilar's cute. What do you think? I love names that start with the letter S and the letter P.
Yeah, true. It could also be pronounced Pilar, which is the same as a cyst you get on top of the head.
That's not how she's going to pronounce it. No one who has that name pronounces it Pilar. Everyone names it Pilar.
How many people do you know named Pilar?
Let me see. Deion Sanders' ex-wife was Pilar.
Why did I ask?
Exactly. I know. I know random stupid celebrity shit. So don't. Every time you try to come for me, I come out swinging.
That's true.
Just sit over there and be a producer. Be quiet until I tell you to talk. So, okay, we can't go without talking about this college robbery scandal. Aunt Becky from Full House got arrested. Felicity Huffman, the wife, what's her husband's name? William. He plays on Shameless.
I don't know.
I'm having a mind fart. Don't say something smart like I know you're getting ready to.
Okay, sorry.
So they all got caught up in this college scandal where they were paying a man basically to get their kids into Ivy League schools. I mean, that's great that you have money to do that, but it seems as though your kids weren't smart enough to go to these schools. So why would you pay millions of dollars to get them in? And then you still have to pay the college tuition when your kids just gonna flunk the fuck out anyway.
Well, here's the crazy thing. You would think that'd be the way that works, right?
Yeah.
You'd think that if they got into Yale and didn't really deserve to,
Right.
they would be, they wouldn't last long.
Right.
But guess what? If you go study liberal arts at
Yeah,
Yale,
you can,
you
and
can
that's
make it
probably
through, no
what they.
problem.
Well, here's Aunt Becky, Lori Laughlin's daughter, who what is she? She does stuff on Instagram. She's pretty well known. I can't remember her name. I think her first name is Olivia. She's constantly talking about how much she doesn't want to go to college to study. She just wants to go to college to go to the parties and post stuff about college on Instagram. So I'm like, okay. So I was actually listening to a podcast and they were kind of going over this story. And the two hosts were kind of going back and forth because one host was like, oh, I don't think they deserve to go to jail. This is a white collar crime. And the other host had a very good point. She goes, Black people go to jail for having an ounce of weed on them. So why shouldn't these people go? Yes, this is what you would call a white people crime. And I do think they should go to jail. I mean, what they did was complete. For example, let Dr. Dre had done this, his ass would go to jail. I firmly believe that.
Well, here's the thing. What they did, like part of it is not illegal. So if you pay somebody to prep your child,
Yes.
to teach them correctly,
Right.
give them extra lessons, try to improve their abilities.
Tutoring.
Exactly. But this guy, so not only did he take money and give it directly to colleges through his charitable organization, as big donations, he also paid people to give them tests improperly.
Yes.
He paid people to take the test for them.
Right.
I mean, they did some really fraudulent shit in order to get these people into school. And frankly, to me, it just speaks to the meritocracy, which says, just because I went to Yale, that means I'm a better person. Therefore, I'm more successful, even though you didn't deserve to go. You didn't study anything that makes you ultra special.
Right.
You made it through.
They tried to do it the Donald Trump way.
Well, no, because
In a way, yes.
Donald Trump didn't pay his way through school.
I think he paid to have his transcripts redone.
I don't think. How? Where's your evidence?
Oh, do you want me to pull out receipts?
Yes. Actually, I would like to hear where he fraudulently made it through college.
Allegedly. Don't get us sued. We ain't got no money to pay out. I don't know. It's just,
Well, here's the crazy thing, and I like what Ben Shapiro said.
Who is Ben Shapiro?
So Ben Shapiro is I'd say a conservative talk show podcast host, angry little Jew, basically. And his joke was, you spent $500,000 to send your kid to USC? That's like paying $100 for a lunchbox.
Yeah, that makes her kid look even dumber. Because it's like
you can't get into USC.
Yeah, you can't even get into USC. Not that USC is not a great school, but you would think if you're going to pay that much money, you'd pay for them to go to an Ivy League school. I don't know. I'm curious. I feel bad for the kids in a way because this is so embarrassing.
Of course it's embarrassing.
I mean, there's no better way to say my kid is fucking dumb than to bribe someone into accepting them into a college. Not even an Ivy League college.
Well, and here's the thing. Unless and this is why I think the majority of public college has become just a complete joke. Because if you're going to learn the same thing you can learn anywhere else, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter what the title of the school you got your diploma from.
But this is America, and we are title whores.
Oh my God,
yes. That
absolutely.
Is, you're better. It doesn't matter if you flunked out of Yale. You can always say, I was accepted into Yale, where you can have someone over here who has a PhD from maybe, I don't know, USC.
I've actually heard people drop the H-bomb, which is Harvard. I've talked to people in the white collar world, and they will start talking about something and immediately say, well, and by the way, when I was at Harvard.
Yes, you have to. And most everyday people in a conversation, they talk about college. They just say, when I was in college,
right.
And then they wait for someone to appropriately ask, oh, what university did you go to? But people who went to Yale, Harvard, Notre Dame, they always have to name drop because it's elitist.
Exactly.
It's typical.
It's a meritocracy, period.
All right, when we get back, we're going to talk about some other stuff. We're going to recap Teen Mom 2. We're going to talk about picture filters, and we're going to talk about crawfish. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Libra Lounge with Keisha. So, is it only big in the South, crawfish season? Because people in the North don't eat crawfish. They consider crawfish bugs.
It's really a Southern thing.
Okay, so it's totally crawfish season now. We're actually getting ready to have our annual crawfish boil slash producer James's birthday party. Why are people so obsessed with crawfish down here?
Because they're delicious, and you only get them certain times of the year.
Here's the thing. Okay, wait. They can be really good if they're cooked correctly.
True.
Because there's some people that can fuck them completely up. And here's another thing. It's hard to eat. You have to work for a very, very small piece of, what are they, crustaceans?
Crustaceans.
A very, very small piece. So, okay, you know how a crawfish looks. A crawfish is about this big. This is a good sized crawfish.
No, that's a lobster. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, a little better.
All you only eat the tail. That's the only part that has meat in it. I mean, you could suck the head and stuff like that, but it's kind of, if you're weird about textures, you don't want to suck the head. But there is flavor if you suck the head. Stop looking at me. I'm not being sexual with you, okay?
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking food right now.
Yeah, so crawfish is like a southern... It's a celebration when it's crawfish season. We have crawfish festivals. It's so much that you can do with this bug, and we're obsessed about it. People look forward to it every year. And how much are they a pound right now?
Let's see. I think like $3 to $4.99 a pound retail. But if you go to a restaurant, you're going to pay like $5 to $7.99.
And that's a lot. It's a lot. But you only get a little bit of meat. You can't get full off of a pound of crawfish.
Oh, no. I always say you never get full. You just
no,
get
you have to eat something else. That's why you get tired of peeling that shit.
Yeah, you get tired.
And your hands got yellow gunk on it and gray gunk on it, and you smell. But it's so good, and especially if you have a Corona right there with you. So I'm looking forward to your party. Producer James makes excellent crawfish. And y'all know that it's hard for me to give him a compliment, but people look forward to his crawfish. They're so good.
Thank you.
You do that right. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and one of their listeners sent in an email needing advice. And, I'm also an event planner, so I really took interest in this question. And it is it rude not to include children in a wedding ceremony?
In the ceremony?
It having anything to do with it, the wedding ceremony, the reception, all of that.
Is it rude?
Well, let me give you a little bit background.
Yeah,
so this woman was getting ready she's engaged. They're planning the wedding, and she has decided that she doesn't want to include kids. So her future sister-in-law was like, well, how rude of you. You must not care about your nieces because you don't want them in the wedding. So here's the thing. Children can ruin a wedding.
Oh, yeah.
I have said children, like animals, are very unpredictable. So it really depends. So I would say if I had a wedding, I would include kids. But here's what happens. Kids don't act right.
True.
Kids get scared, especially if they're in it. So they're a junior bride, a flower girl, a ring bearer. They lose a ring. They walk too fast, and they get bored very quickly at a wedding. And then most weddings start around 5 o'clock on average. Then you go into they're tired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God,
yes.
Yeah.
So you're at the reception now. You've got adults drinking, eating, having fun. Then you hear a screaming baby. and then the parent never wants to leave because they're still trying to have fun. I don't think that is something to be offended about. Okay, now I did see this one time. I saw where someone had a wedding and it's very sternly said no kids allowed, but the bride had kids and her kids were there.
Yeah, I don't
You
like that.
can't. I didn't like that at all. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have a no kids zone here, there needs to be no kids. I don't think that it's wrong if a person is honest about the fact that they don't want to have children included. Because at the end of the day, you just have a whole bunch of drunk adults running around, throwing up, eating shit, breaking shit, getting in fights. And so, sometimes it's not the best place for a kid to be. And I mean, wedding receptions run pretty late. I don't think it's rude. And I most definitely don't think that it is something that should become an issue within the family because you don't want to include kids. But some people have started to have hired babysitters available for people who do have kids. So once it gets to a certain point, they can request for the babysitter to come and get the kid and take them to that designated area for the kids.
I just want to know what kind of weddings you're going to where people are falling around, breaking shit, having fights.
You
That
haven't
sounds like
been to
fun.
weddings like that?
I've never been to a wedding where a fight broke out.
I have. So,
We've been
and
kicked out. You and I have
we've
been
been
kicked out
kicked
of
out
one.
of a wedding. Yeah,
Yep.
we did get kicked out of a wedding because of him,
Yeah,
not
true.
because of me. But I don't think I look. It's someone else's wedding. They're paying all the money. They get to set the rules because they have to pay for that plate and they pay for everything else. Now, unless you are helping them pay for the wedding, you shouldn't have a say so in it at all. So I don't think it's rude to say that you don't want to have kids included. There's so many things before the actual ceremony, celebratory things that you can include kids. You've got bridal showers, and yeah, it's up to the couple, especially if the couple doesn't have kids. Some people look, kids are motherfuckers. Some people don't like them, and it's just as simple as that. So another thing that has come up is, should women still be required? They're not required, but it is customary for a woman to change her last name when she's married. And so it's listening to coffee convos, and they were speaking about that. And it's the same thing. This is kind of the same rule that I go by. It's like, I have built a life as Rakisha Holman. I have students that still see me now and they call me Miss Holman because that's who I'm known as. And once James and I actually just legally changed my last name maybe 2 months ago, and we've been married almost 5 years. To me, this wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't something that was important to me. It was important to him. My last name doesn't really define me. I still feel like I'm my own person. He's not changing his last name. But one couple, the wife decided that no, I'm not going to take my husband's last name. And so then they had to talk, well, what do we do with the kids? What last name do they have? So they went and created their own last name.
Was it a name that was totally different than
Yeah.
Just okay. So the kids have a different last name than they do, or they all took the
They
same.
all took the
new
same
one?
last name.
Okay.
They all created their whole. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't think that's a really bad idea. Because Lord knows, I know there's people in James's family that don't want me to have their last name. So you come up with your own last name. So, okay, this is funny. So our pets have a last name that is a combo of both of our last names, Holman, Owens. So our pets' last names are Howens. So I can get that you're creating your own family. So why not? I don't know. It's just I'm one of those women that it's not a big deal for me. And of course I hyphenate it, but Rakisha Holman Owens is a lot to have to write.
Yeah, I think people like
The tradition of
the
it.
tradition and the idea of carrying on the family name in many ways. I know in the South that sometimes means a lot.
I'm not gonna lie, it's still weird for me to say Rakisha Owens. It's still weird to me. It feels better to say Rakisha Holman Owens than it does to say Rakisha Owens. And the majority of the time, I do say Rakisha Holman Owens. I have been trying to get in the habit of saying Rakisha Owens, but it doesn't roll off my tongue. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like, why is it that a couple gets married and the woman, don't we have to carry a baby for 9 damn months? Don't we have to deliver the baby? Why do we have to change our last names too? The men don't have to do shit.
You're carrying that baby with my last name.
And see, if we would have had kids of our own, I don't know how I would have felt about them only having the last name Owens.
Really?
I think I would have wanted them to have a hyphenated last name of Holman Owens.
Wow.
I am firmly that I have built a life as myself, and when you marry someone else, that is in addition to you. Something that you add on. So to me, it makes sense to hyphenate it. Like, okay, we're married now. We are joined, but you're going to have to come over here a little bit and you're going to be added on to my last name. I don't know. And plus my dad, I'm his only kid. He didn't have any sons. So even my daughter has the last name Holman.
So what do you do if you've been married a couple times? Because I know we know a few people in our lives who
you keep changing your last names. Yeah, we know some people that are damn near maxed out on how many times they can get married in the state of Texas. Exactly. So we know some bitches that have been married 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and every time you have to change your last name. You got kids with all different last names. It's weird to me. That's why I'm like, just keep your last name.
Yeah, I used to have kind of strong feelings, but I don't. It doesn't matter to me as much as it used to. I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, because you kept bringing it up to me, and I kept explaining it. I was firm about it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't feel like standing in the Social Security line for 15 hours just so I can take your last name. We're married. Everyone knows we're married. Your sister's the only person to keep telling people we're not married, but we are married. So I don't feel as though it's necessary. Actually, in Puerto Rico, they don't do the whole last name change.
Yeah, I think it's got I don't know. For some people, I know for me, for a long time, it was the idea that it was another part of the commitment. Which I can see how it's not.
I don't. I could have been perfectly fine being Rakisha Holman, and and being married. It's just not that big of a deal to me at all. I almost feel like it's like a sense of ownership.
Oh, you don't say that because I'm white.
No, and I think it's sexist that only women are required to change their last names, and they're trying to pass a law that says women have to take their husband's last name. Now that's just taking it too far.
Have to. That's no place for government to
no, not at all. So it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
Also, another subject that came up was, is it ever okay to date your friend's ex? No, it is not to me. I have always gone by the theory that if a guy is trying to holler at me and you have kissed, licked, touched, or inserted anything in a friend of mine, we will never be. No, I think there's boundaries. It's just, I don't know how you don't think about where all that's been before and you're like, that's my friend. No, I think that's just a thought turns my stomach.
So it's kind of like that, keep a certain degree of separation away from, so like it's got to be more than 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're all from the same small town, and I have been in a room before with him and another one. Hell, one time it was in a room and there was 2 women he slept with before, but we all had gone to high school together.
Yeah.
So, and they weren't like relationships, but that's about it for me. I don't want to. It's a different thing if you start dating someone and they've dated someone who's an associate versus someone who's like a friend who knows my secrets, a friend that I hang out with, who's a friend,
Well, yeah, on top of that, usually you'll get into that, which side are you picking? Because all of a sudden, your friend may feel like you're betraying them some way.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it is. It's just it's one of those boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. And then hey, people, oh, just we couldn't help it. Yes, you could have. You could have. Yes, you could have. You could have said no. This is what we're not going to do because you used to fuck my homegirl. So we're not going to do that. So moving right along, before we go into this break. So we live in a society that we all strive for perfection, and now when we're taking a photo of ourselves we can throw a filter on that. And so some people feel a type of way about photo filters. I don't, because I remember my mom asked me, why do you use a filter on your photos? I'm like, because a fucking photo lasts forever and I want to make sure I look good in that photo. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, there are some people that go too far with it. If you have filtered your face so much that you can no longer see your nose, all you see are just two holes. There's no form, there's no bone, there's no cartilage. You've gone too far. And here's another thing. People are like, "Oh, you put a filter on there so you can look cute." No, okay. Either you're cute or you're not. If you're ugly and you use a photo filter, you still gonna be ugly just with the filter on your face. It is the same thing as putting a makeup on a gorilla. No matter what, it still looks like a gorilla with makeup on it. So it's the same thing with a filter. A filter is only there to enhance things out. I mean, even celebrities do it. It's smooth things out, maybe changing eye color a little bit or whatever. But if you're cute, you're cute. I'm like, I'm cute whether I have a filter on my photo or not. So that's my whole theory on, the whole filter story. I know producer James feels some type of way about it.
No,
but
I'm fine
per
with
always, I really don't care.
I'm okay. I mean, I think there's a point when you've gone to where, like you said, you no longer look like yourself.
Yeah.
Or you look in a way that people don't look.
Yes. I will say that for me, one of my insecurities is that when I was really badly diabetic, my skin changed a lot. It darkened a lot. It was about as black as this damn table cover right here. And it was a lot of skin thickening because I had high testosterone and was badly insulin resistant. And that is one of my insecurities. Yes, my skin has lightened up, but there's still areas that are still dark from me being diabetic. They're gradually going back to their original color. And I'm like, you know what? If that's an insecurity that I have and that I can change with a filter, all right. That's how I feel about it. All right. When we get back, we are going to welcome Mike Navarro, and he and I together, we're going to break down the movie Us. We'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Keisha, the host of the Libra Lounge with Keisha podcast and web series. If you follow me on social media, you know that the Million Harris is one of the sponsors of the show. I've told you all about the great hair products for both men and women that they have, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to actually see some of their hair bundles. Here they are. What I did was I ordered both 20 and 22-inch Malaysian bundles and a frontal from the Million Harris and took them to my stylist and had her make this unit. Yes, this is actually a lace front unit made from the bundles I purchased at the Million Harris. I usually don't wear this much hair extensions, nor do I wear it this long, but I really, really love it. The hair feels amazing. It looks great. I've been getting compliments everywhere that I go. So make sure to go to her website or stop by the shop and get your order on. She's got hair products, bundles, and mink lashes. Make sure to use my discount code Libra20 for 20% off your total purchase. Welcome back to the Libra Lounge with Keisha. I have self-proclaimed pop culture and movie expert Mike Navarro from Manticore Media here with me tonight because we are going to break down the movie Us. How you been, Mike?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So, as you guys know, when Mike and I get together, producer James hates us because he's coughing, I'm sneezing, then we're both sniffing. So we are basically the soundboard for an allergy commercial.
At least we're in the new studio that's animal free.
Yes, and
Yeah.
none of the animals have been here yet, and I doubt the cat will make it.
Okay.
Yeah, he just, you can't take him nowhere. He don't know that. He don't even know how to act at home. So, all right. So everyone has been talking about what is the guy's name?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, and his new horror flick. This is the follow up to his film Get Out. I saw the movie this past Sunday. Mike, I'm sure you were there opening night.
We actually waited till Sunday morning to see it.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
No babysitter.
Gotcha. Okay, so everyone's talking about this movie because there are so many what is it, Easter eggs that they call it? There's so many Easter eggs.
Lots of clues.
Yes, and there's a lot of symbolism in the film. I think there's a few themes, and I think that, people are trying to make certain things more than what it really is. I don't know.
You could
I'm
say that.
sure Mike and I don't know what he's going to say. We have not consulted one another or anything. But I'm ready for Mike. I took notes. I looked shit up. I went and watched the movie 10 more times because I'm not going to let Mike make me look stupid tonight.
Okay, did you do what I do? And I went through YouTube and I watched like about 10 videos about explaining the end of Us. What did you miss? Where were the Easter eggs? I watched literally hours of those videos. Just getting ready for you.
Can you just come back next week? Give me a little bit more time to prepare. And I thought I was doing so good. I was on the interwebs and taking notes. And of course, he was watching the. I didn't think to do that.
You'll have it. You got it.
All right. So, do you want to give the intro, like the outline of the film?
Sure.
Okay.
So the premise of the movie is that a family of four, Lupita Nyong'o from Black Panther, and also from Black Panther, Winston Duke, who played her husband, are traveling with their two kids, a boy and a girl, to I guess it was to a beach town that she had been going to when she grew up. And she's a little reluctant about going there because she once got lost in a fun house in the mirror room.
Bad parenting 101.
Yeah. And this is the first time they're going back since her mother died. And so they go to the beach. The son sees this crazy weird guy standing out with his hands extended. And she freaks out, brings him back. They go back to the house. And they try to make it through the night because she wants to go home. Till not even a knock.
Right, yeah.
They just heard something. And there was a family standing outside.
Not just any family, as they discover. It is their, and producer James is going to get me if I pronounce it wrong, doppelgangers. Did I say it right?
Yes. Exactly.
I practice all day to say it correct. So outside are four people who look exactly like the characters, Addie, Gabe, Zora, and Jason. Which initially oh my God, so every time we talk about it, we're going to have to say, what do we call the people in the red? Are we going to call them that?
Do you want to call them what they call them in the movie?
I forgot what they call them.
So spoiler alert now? We're gonna do that?
If you've not seen the movie and you don't want to know what the movie is about right now, go somewhere else and then come back and finish the show with us.
Okay, so those people are called the Tethered.
Yes, okay.
Tethered.
Now, I will say this. I think producer James as well, we did not fully understand where the Tethers came from.
Okay.
Until after the fact when we had to Wikipedia it. Because I don't know if we missed that part of the movie. It was most definitely something that they did not spend a lot of time on when they were kind of giving us, we were getting the backstory.
Right.
So producer James, what the Tethered were...
So they were clones that the government made in order to try and control society.
Okay. So everyone basically has a doppelganger.
So
a double wanger.
Yeah, the way you said it. We've had double wanger, we've had doppelganger, we've had double gangbanger. I mean, it's
I'm trying.
Say twin.
Twin, yes.
There we go.
Everyone has a twin.
So it seemed like they only covered the city of Santa Cruz because I couldn't tell that it was all across America, every 327 million clones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. And
Did you?
That's the impression I got.
I did
that
too. I assume
it was
it's a
everyone.
worldwide.
Yeah, everyone in the United States only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Not any foreign country, just United
Just-
States.
okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Which went, you know, there was something, I don't know why Jordan did this, but you know, there was lots of references to Hands Across America,
Yes.
which we were all alive for. Basically it was to, if I remember correctly, raise awareness about poverty in the US and in foreign countries.
I really don't remember.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you don't know something?
No, I don't remember much about Hands Across America.
You do. Do you remember the song We Are the World?
That was part of that?
That was part of that.
No way.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, Hands Across America, as soon as the film opens up, I believe there's a commercial for that
There
showing. And then there's other symbolisms. Is that a word? Symbolisms?
Yeah.
Just it's singular symbolism, symbols, symbolism.
There's lots of symbols that reference Hands Across America. Okay. All right, Mike. So, where do we go from here?
Well, do you want to know what I thought of the movie?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for you.
Excuse me.
That was a good one. That was a good one because that was a big thing in the movie.
I absolutely wanted to like it, but I didn't.
Okay. So before we went to see it, of course, we were reading reviews and I was like, oh man, this is, I mean, it's 50-50, you know, between all the reviews that we were seeing. So I was expecting not to like the movie, but I really, really liked the movie. You know, I think a lot of people went to the movies and saw it looking for things. And I think that might have ruined the experience of just sitting back and enjoying the movie because it was pretty good.
Yeah, see, I didn't go in with any expectations. I wasn't really a big Key and Peele fan. Never followed them. I liked them in Mad TV. I loved Keanu, which he wrote, and I love.
That's about
Get
the
Out.
cat, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And he wrote and directed Get Out.
Right.
Love those. But I was going in, you know, under the assumption that it was just a regular horror movie, and it had me the first 20-30 minutes. Once it got away from the home invasion angle and they started expanding outside of the home, that's where they lost me.
Why?
Well, okay, so the cast was great.
Great
Cast
acting, especially
was
by the
great.
kids.
Yeah, the cast was spectacular. The cinematography was great. A beautiful looking movie. The direction was good. It's just the whole mythology, the whole explanation or lack of an explanation, that lost it for me.
Right.
It just kind of strung it out more than it needed to be. You know, you read my post on Facebook. I said Jordan Peele more like Jordan Knight Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Don't do my boy M. Night Shyamalan like that because he's gonna make a comeback.
Oh, I'm hoping he does.
I
enjoyed
he does
his
too.
stuff
I love
too.
his stuff, but he's been kind of lately.
I actually even like Lady of the Water.
That's one of my favorite movies.
That's the first one that people really started hating.
And I love it. I've
loved
watched it
yeah.
like 100 times.
Yeah. So my problem with this, it was first, you know, okay, Get Out had that, you know, surprise ending, and then this one also had a surprise ending. So I don't want him to be stuck in, okay, I've always got to up myself and make something wackier and crazier.
Yes.
Too many plot holes.
Okay.
Just like y'all didn't know, okay, well, where did they come from?
Yeah,
Where,
I missed the meaning behind why everyone had a double.
Yeah, so they were all part of a project with the government, as James said. So then why were there doppelgangers of their kids when the project was already cut off before the kids were born?
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, when they showed, you know, the flashbacks getting, you know, at the very end, there were the children didn't exist in 1986.
Right.
So apparently, I guess we're either to believe that they were cloning people all the way up until the day that they attacked, or that those people decided to actually have sex, have children, raise children. They were obviously dumb insane.
Yeah.
And how could you raise a child like that? So how in the hell did you get every age up until the point that they decided to attack?
Right, because the couple, Gabe and Addie, their kids are, I think Zora's probably, 13, and Jason looks like he may have been around 8 or 9. And
Right.
then you have their friends who have twin daughters who are like 16 or 17. That was never explained.
No.
Now James and I talked about, what we thought as far as, the symbolism of the movie. I know you probably have some that you noticed. So
Yes.
let's go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Well, so the whole Hands Across America thing,
Mm-hmm.
the original Adelaide, let's call Service and Tether people.
Okay.
So we're the
Okay.
Surface, they're the Tether.
Okay.
That was one of her last, big memories of being in the Surface world. And it
Okay.
stuck with her. So when she planned the attack, I guess that's how she wanted to get her revenge, by having everyone hold hands across.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
They really didn't explain it. What I took from that, don't look at my notes. What I took from that is that when Americans try to convince one another of something positive, something that's optimistic for society, there's usually a darker undertone.
Right.
Which, Hands Across America, them all holding hands, knowing what really happened, which was that everyone had a clone that was created, and the true American way said, you know what, fuck that, we're just going to abandon them and just act like we never even did it.
Right.
So that's what I got from that. My answer was a little bit better than yours.
See, and I thought it was just dumb. The entire plot was escape this very easily escapable place.
Right.
So apparently, since 1986, none of these morons figured out how to walk up an escalator, except for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, their entire purpose was to get together and recreate Hands Across America, and then just stand there.
Right.
That was the entirety of the mission.
Right.
Dumb.
Well, and that was my problem. Is that so? One, why was the tethered
Mm-hmm.
Adelaide? Why was she so scared? If this was her plan the whole time,
Mhm.
and she was their savior,
Mm-hmm.
why was she scared of them? Why did they attack her? They should have recognized that she was who she was.
Well, I felt that if you think about it, the first few times that I guess we gotta say what happened. So what we found at the end of the movie is that Addie, who is part of the normal world, is actually one of the clones. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think if you think back, the first few times that Addie was approached by one of the clones, they didn't try to kill her. It's almost like they recognized her as being one of theirs.
Okay, the guy at the beach.
The guy at the beach, and then even their friend, the wife, she attacked her, but she didn't kill her.
Okay, you're right.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe they sensed that she was one of them, and that's why they're not trying to kill her. Or it could be that the quote unquote tethered Addie told them not to kill her.
Maybe so,
You
because
really don't know.
she wanted her revenge.
Yes, she wanted
Yeah.
to be the one to kill her herself.
Now I understood why the tethered family of themselves came. I understood that. That was the tethered Addie's whole revenge story. It's
Yes.
what the whole premise of the beginning of the movie was.
Mm-hmm.
That made perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I think if you sit back and just look at it as a horror flick, even though I don't even really consider it classic horror at all, it's more suspense to me.
It was the home invasion.
Yeah, it's a good movie. There's, from the very beginning of the movie, there's rabbits everywhere.
Right.
Which I found out Jordan Peele actually has a fear of both rabbits and scissors.
Okay.
Yes, so he felt the need to put them in the movie, but also rabbit ears resemble scissors,
Okay.
which they use scissors. The tethers all use scissors to kill the humans.
In essence, cutting away the strings that attach
Yes,
them.
mhm, the puppets. And then also you see the tethered Addie cutting out, the Hands Across America little figures, kind of, in red.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
a few of those things didn't make any sense. Number one, who was taking care of the rabbits?
My question exactly.
Okay. And apparently they were well taken care of all the way until the day before.
Well,
Right.
because that is actually all that the tethers had to feed off of were raw rabbits.
I guess so. And no water. I guess water had to be somewhere because you can't live that long without water.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. The other one is, when Addie was taken, she could speak. None of the other tethered even can make anything close to speech. They just like cry at each other. So somehow she was able to organize not just those people there, but somehow an entire world worth, I guess, or a U.S. full of tethered who lacked the ability to communicate in a meaningful way, but still could to act out an extremely well planned tactical attack. How?
Yeah, well, okay. Do you remember the tethered Gabe, or I guess he was called Abraham?
Mm-hmm.
When him and the real Abraham the real Gabe were fighting in the boat, he heard the neighbor, the friend, he heard his, from far away,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started yelling back at him. So I guess they could communicate in those tones.
Right.
Yeah.
Primitive communication, but maybe to them it was a little more.
Yeah.
Well, because the tethered, all they really do is act out what the humans are doing. They don't actually eat. They mimic eating.
Sure.
They don't know sound. The only one who knows how to communicate vocally is Addie because she's really human.
Right. So again,
but I think like her voice, which Mike did a great demonstration of it earlier, is like that because there's plenty of times that she probably didn't really talk or use her voice because they had other ways of communicating, which is with their sounds.
Well, I think the issue with her voice was because she was strangled, and she didn't have anybody to heal her. No doctors down there, so her larynx was damaged from that attack.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that.
So I guess we should explain a little more. In the beginning of the movie, you see we said the young Addie going into the mirror room,
Mm-hmm.
and the tethered Addie grabs her by the throat, pulls her into the mirror. And what you find out at the end is that she dragged her in there, left her in there under the surface,
Mm-hmm.
and came out and took her place.
Right. Yeah. So she, they have flashbacks of Addie with her family, after she was lost for 15 minutes in the, what was it? A fun house with the mirrors and stuff like that. And she didn't talk. And because none of the tethers know how to talk, but her parents took her to a child therapist and they're like, how do we get her to talk? We want our daughter back. So what the child therapist told her parents was, let her communicate other ways to, dance, drawing. So I guess after being in the real world so long, she learned how to talk.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to then assume that the tethered version of her is so incredibly special out of all of them because they made a point to show that the tethered would only mimic what the people in the surface were doing. So what we have to assume now is the tethered Addie in the surface world, the real Addie was probably fighting, screaming, crying, going through literal hell.
Right.
But somehow the tethered Addie in the surface didn't mimic that.
Yeah, that was my question too. Why didn't she mimic the original surface Addie, who was
exactly because all you did was change her location?
Yeah, I mean, they even said that everything was fine, but then when the two of them were born, it's like they broke the mold with that one. They were special. They never explained why, how,
you just assume
like that.
they're drastically special,
right,
for no good reason.
Now, one of the things that I was telling producer James about was Gabe's voice in the movie. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Gabe M'Baku from Wakanda or Black Panther, he is, and to me, there's a lot of undertones about race in it that I found, and one of them was Gabe's voice. So Gabe tries really hard to be quote unquote white. He wants the American dream, he wants to fit in, and they often show him talking about his friends who are white and all the things that they have and how he's constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses. So Gabe is kind of nerdy, he wears glasses, he talks kind of like producer James, until shit got real. When he was trying to be threatening to the tethered family, he started to talk quote unquote black. Like he was saying, if y'all really wanna play, or he was talking like that. So he became the angry black man when he was trying to be scary.
In my opinion, I think you're overplaying the way he said that. He didn't go Denzel Washington Training Day.
Yes, he kind of did.
He still had nerdy voice trying to play a little bit harder.
Okay, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying is that he basically grew up and figured this is how I gotta be to make it in this world. But soon as things got heavy, he reverted back to what he thinks is talking black, being threatening. What do you think? Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did catch that, and that kind of possibly plays into the symbolism of, the tethered are the surface people are wanting to live in a white world,
right?
And the tethered are not
underground.
Underground, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even okay, so. To piggyback off what you said, the tethered live underground. They're forgotten. Maybe something like the Underground Railroad. I'm just saying. But I also thought that whenever Zora was killed, she was in the tree hanging.
Right.
I thought that was a reference to slavery.
Yes.
Not only just American slavery as far as, black slaves, but also how we become slaves. We enslave ourselves to have this American dream. That's what I picked up on it. And also, when the tethered, I can't remember their friends' names, but the wife was killed.
Kitty.
Josh and Kitty.
Okay, Josh and Kitty. They were living the American dream, but clearly they were very miserable. But to the outside world, they had perfection, which is what Gabe was constantly trying to achieve with his family, but just couldn't afford to do so.
Right.
But both Josh and Kitty, those are not unique characters to that movie. Every single movie just about that has a neighbor is usually a neighbor with argumentative wife, with some problems, with some shitty kids.
Yeah.
None of these characters were brand new and unique to this movie. So
no, they were only unique in the fact that they were Gabe's picture of perfection. And even to the point that when the tethered kitty killed the real kitty, she gets in a mirror and she gets her lip gloss, right? Because that's all that Kitty talked about. She was always striving for the perfect face. She even mentioned that she'd gotten a facelift. And she was all about drinking her rosé and having her sunglasses on and being on the beach and being a nagging, stereotypical white wife.
So then maybe it was less a comment on race and more on poverty. And
I think it's I really feel like it's all about people's versions of the American dream when it really comes down to it. And I think that Gabe's character was all about that. Now Addie, she was just odd to me, period and point blank. But once we find out that she's really the clone, it kind of explains a lot. Right. And I don't know if you guys saw, but whenever she was eating a strawberry, do you remember? She ate it so weird, like.
Yes, because she only ate raw rabbit.
Yes.
So she was finally getting to eat sweet fruits, and
it was just odd. Even though she's an adult, it's just she was still eating that strawberry like it was something exotic that she'd never tasted before.
Well, everyone else ate fried chicken.
Yeah.
But
it's really weird.
Yeah, but also we have to assume that nobody gets scurvy. Gets scurvy.
What does that mean?
That's a lack of vitamin C.
Yeah.
So if all you eat is raw rabbit, you're going to have huge amounts of vitamin deficiencies, including
maybe
scurvy.
That's why the motherfuckers can't talk.
Well,
no, there's a vitamin deficiency.
They should have died.
You can't live on just rabbit.
No.
So many things you had to suspend disbelief.
There's so many
that was
things
my
that
biggest
he tried.
problem,
But then it's like, I think that'll be a good idea. Let's put that in there. But then he forgot to go back and explain it to the audience.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, it's a pretty cool idea for a movie.
Right.
None of it's groundbreaking in terms of its ideas. There's always been the evil clone, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's always been, the horror movie of clones take over.
Right.
I feel like this movie was a good idea, but like a painting, someone tells you that there's more meaning to it.
Right.
I think they're really trying to give a whole lot more to it than the way it was really written and presented. I think they're trying too hard for it to have relevance and not just be a somewhat decent horror movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is a lot of people like Peele. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, Peele. They wanted to like this movie. They want it to be groundbreaking and have a lot of
like Get Out.
Yeah, they want it to be another Get Out. And oftentimes there's those people who they want to be smarter than they really are, and so they tell you that they like something and they tell you that they understand the meaning. I think he just had subpar execution on his on his vision.
I agree. I think what saved him a lot is the acting was so well done.
Yes.
Oh yes.
That, I mean, the movie is enjoyable, but when you try to go back, once you're out of the theater, you're like, now why does that happen again? And you kind of, you really need to go wiki the movie after you see it to understand some things. And then even after that, there's some things that just can't be explained.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, it's probably a little controversial, but can we just agree that not every movie after Black Panther that's done by a black director is some groundbreaking, amazing new thing we've never seen or heard before?
No. I think this movie was only groundbreaking because it broke a record for the first original horror film to it made the most money on the opening weekend. That's the only reason why they're saying that it's groundbreaking. And I think it's something else. I can't remember what it was. That's the only reason why it's groundbreaking. This film was not an all black cast. I mean, you really only get to see Addie and her family and then their friends. Everyone else is just, well, they're all dead.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah, because, the doppelgangers go around just killing everybody with scissors. I'm like, no one had a gun in their house?
Well, it was California.
Well, it also is California, but apparently everybody was really cool with there being dead people around. Because if you remember, at one scene, the family, the children, are sitting there like talking over the body of their friends and neighbors like it was no big deal.
They were kind of in shock.
At
that point, they realized, okay, it's not just us we're not the only ones who have clones. Mm-hmm. They have clones as well. So I think there's just shock, and then they had to be tired. They've been running around and swimming and damn near drowning and trying to kill. I think they were in shock.
Well, and they also tried to throw in a little bit of humor in places that, really
like what? Did you catch that?
Yes, I did actually like that. Well, when they were comparing the body counts, like who the kill counts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of that again. I think it was.
That was kind of like a little bit of the Lord of the Rings when you have Gimli and Legolas that were, no matter how many trolls they killed, they were like, "Oh, I'm still beating you" and stuff like that. So
I'm sitting on 38.
Yes, 39. yes. There was a little bit. He tried it, and some things just didn't work.
And I'm hoping on the second viewing that I'll like it more. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I watch it from the perspective of knowing.
Right, I agree.
But you shouldn't have
to do that. No, you really should be able to leave the film with the same feeling. And because I'm gonna go back to my boy M. Night Shyamalan, when you watched what was the first movie with Bruce Willis?
The Sixth Sense.
Unbreakable.
Yes.
No, Unbreakable.
No. I'm talking about The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Oh. You walk out the theater, you're like,
but you know what?
Holy shit.
Time out real quick.
Okay.
That is one of the movies I don't think we should ever spoil for anyone, no matter how much time has passed by. I think
it's a great movie.
I think each new audience should be able to go in there blind and not knowing the ending. Because I had it ruined for me.
Oh,
and
really?
I still liked it. But yeah, that's one of the few like the Crying Game. I think you need to go in there blind.
Yeah. Okay. Those are great examples of you walk out the movies and you're like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming at all. Yeah. It's a great plot twist, and I love that feeling. I think this is what he was trying to do whenever it was revealed that the Addie that we assumed was human was really a clone. But I didn't get that same feeling at all.
No.
And to be honest with you, I didn't like the movie Get Out.
You didn't like Get Out?
I didn't go to the movies to see it. I was at home one day and it came on and I started watching it. And halfway through, I was like, this is kind of boring to me.
I think the problem with Get Out is it was really hyped up.
Yes, I agree.
And so it was never going to live up to that expectation of how everyone built it up in your head.
Right. I agree. But again, I still enjoyed this movie. And honestly, the story is okay. But again, I'll go back to the acting was so good that, you're kind of like, you feel like you're right there with them, like trying to help them, fight off these doppelgangers but you're still wondering, how's there a doppelganger of everybody again? And
it's a fun movie. Like the action was good.
Yeah.
The acting was good. As you said, good mix of gore and kind of fun death.
Yeah. And the killings were realistic.
Yeah,
were.
they
Yeah,
were.
the killings were
Yeah.
really realistic for if you were in a situation where your clones are taking over America.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
even with
yeah, that's a
Zora
good
being
point.
able to kill,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nobody became a commando.
No, not at
It was
all.
like really kind of a little bit of luck, a little bit of
Well,
you know.
and if you notice, the women, Addie and Zora, were the real heroes
They were.
because Gabe couldn't do not goddamn nothing at all, and Jason was steady trying to do a magic trick the whole film.
We can talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of theories that I saw that sound
About the magic
pretty cool
tricks?
about a lot of things involving the boy, and
Okay.
there's some really good stuff.
Well, because I still haven't figured out why the clone of Jason was burned on half of his face.
Well, they said that he had. Was he the one they said was born in fire? Is that
No,
what they
he
said?
was born liking fire.
He
I
was
think
born
that's what they
liking fire?
said. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a theory going around that is actually the surface. What's his name? Alex,
Who?
the son.
Jason.
Jason. I'm sorry. His name is Evan Alex. Is the
Okay.
actor's name.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so-
You had the actors now. Okay.
Yeah. So there's
I'll
a
be ready
theory
next time.
that he is actually the surface Jason who was taken the year before. And that's why when they're driving to the beach, his dad's like, "Where did you learn that language from? Where are you talking? Why are you talking all different
Well,
now and acting differently?" And
So in a year, you're not going to lose your ability to speak. I mean, you're not going to be.
But he's
brainwashed like
burned.
that.
but he burned himself. That's why, and that's the other theory is like
Yeah.
that's why he said a year ago he knew how to do the magic trick, but he
Right.
forgot. So the theory is that when they were switched, the tethered one didn't know how to do it,
Oh, okay.
but the service one did it, and he
Burned
burned his
himself.
face, so he can't speak. And if you notice, the tethered Adelaide, who she called herself Red,
Mhm.
that's the only other person in her family she gave any affection to. She would pet his head and call him, and she worried about him.
Right.
And maybe it was because they had that bond that they were both stolen from the surface.
Oh
world.
my gosh, I just thought of something while you said that. Okay, so we've got the Hands Across America.
Mhm.
Everyone's grabbing hands.
Mhm.
That was their thing.
That was.
The mom and Jason's thing was they would put their hands together like. Producer James thinks
I
we're going
don't-
too deep.
I don't know if I completely buy it, and that might be into the people wanting to be smarter than they really
Right.
Yeah.
But if I'm ever going to like this movie,
Mhm.
thinking about stuff like that is what's
It's
going to
gonna
make
help,
me like
yeah.
it.
You
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
find a whole bunch of ways
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
to be cooler
Yeah.
than what it was.
So I get that makes a little
Yeah.
sense that they'd already been switched.
Yeah. Because when they were at the beach and he was building a sandcastle or
Mhm.
whatever it was, and the two girls knocked it over,
Mhm,
the rich
mhm,
kids,
mhm.
and they asked him, "What was it? Is it a castle?" He said, "No, it's a tunnel. I was building a tunnel. Who builds a sand tunnel?"
No one does.
Right.
Little weird kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They said he had been really weird since his grandma died the year before.
Mhm,
And remember, he got stuck in the closet the year before,
mhm.
and he knew to put the toy ambulance in there
Right.
to block it off. So maybe he was stolen from the closet. This is really digging.
Right,
This is
right,
stretching
right.
here, saying he got stolen out of the closet.
But I mean, you kind of have to make up your own theory because the clones are supposed to be clones,
Right.
except for the Jason's clone who has half of his face
Mhm.
burned, which they both wear masks.
Well, and then
Right.
again, you have to accept the idea for that theory that if they got switched a year ago, the now surface Jason came up knowing how to talk immediately, where it took Addie a long time to learn how to talk. Because
They never said
Yeah.
how long it took. They never said how long it took for Addie to learn how to talk.
long enough for it to be a family problem.
Right.
Well,
mean-
the kid was lost and traumatized.
But then again, the kid underneath grew up with a mother who could talk, and maybe she did
Well,
talk to him.
It's a year. And on top of that, again, we're assuming that he was cloned without anybody giving birth.
No, no, she did give birth because remember she said she told her your second child
had to be cut
had
out.
to be
of
cut
you.
out of you,
So a
and,
C-section.
and I had to do it myself. I didn't have anyone
Okay.
to help me cut him
Mhm.
out.
So how come she didn't die?
Great question.
Well, because
Again.
at some point I was like, maybe the clones can't die, but then we see some of them die. So
Well, they
how
all-
would
I
she
mean,
have
yeah, they get
survived
killed.
having a C-section?
Well, how would all the other ones? And let's go one more. How did she have sex twice with any of those insane morons to have those two kids at the exact same time that the Surface 2 kids were born?
Well, that's because
I
they
don't
were
know.
shadowed.
Yeah, yes, they're shadows of us, and shadows
Yeah,
don't talk. I don't know.
So she had to lay down twice for a giant grunting moron that then was able to raise two kids, and on top of that, that was a pretty clean place where a bunch of insane people were living.
That was my big problem with the whole thing. It just too much needs explaining.
Yeah.
When you made them stupid, I lost every bit of. I mean, I already had to have suspended disbelief, but it got to where there is no way they can explain in a way that makes any sense, even in unreality, how this is possible for all these people to be insane and still live in a place that long without the place being totally destroyed, without them feeding on each other, without them getting scurvy. How do they survive all the way up until the day of the attack? Because she said they've been lost and forgotten about for a long time. So it wasn't like the government just stopped taking care of them the day before.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to know. Like,
too much.
How? Okay, so the Red organized them, right?
Right.
Okay, but how did they break free from shadowing to be able to do all that?
Exactly. How were they trained to not be insane enough to take orders, not just there, but across all of America,
right,
where no one showed? So we're to assume that this tunnel system apparently is all over the U.S. They showed no way for them to communicate. I mean, you'd have to at least call somebody on the phone unless she traveled around the world.
That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe they had little subgroups that she trained and then they went off to go train other people. That's why in the scene where the two Addies kind of start facing off, she's in front of a chalkboard. She's the teacher.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm starting to really not like it because it was at that point, it's become too dumb, too outlandish. And no way to tie it up.
Yeah, the ending was way too vague, and it was just like dumb. Okay, you came out and you killed everybody, and then you're just gonna stand there.
Yeah, that was the extent of the plan. Was to stand in the sun. Stupid.
Which I mean, I understand that was the last thing that she bonded to with the service world was that whole concept of Hands Across America.
Right.
So, I can't even find a way to put two and two together about why that's how she would express herself to get her revenge.
Well, because I think that's what the media at that time was really pushing was Hands Across America.
So is she upset that she missed out on it?
No, I just think that's just a memory that she latched onto.
I mean,
I just don't. I don't understand how that plays in her plan.
Why that matters?
I don't know either.
After everything she went through, I mean, I could see how she would be acting the way she was because she had a functioning brain.
Right.
But then again, you also got to remember, unless she made trips to the surface to learn new things, how would she know how to procure clothing? How would she know how to procure scissors for everybody?
And
she'd have to be going up pretty often, stealing things, stealing huge amounts of clothes in order to put this all together. And to also work in an entire nationwide Fight Club, Tyler Durden kind of recruitment program for this to work the way that it did. And for everybody to just be like, holy shit, these people in red are killing us. I mean, even The Walking Dead figured out that you have to have some kind of coordinated response. But apparently everybody just lays the fuck down whenever a couple of people with scissors walk up to you. Like,
I'll have to agree with you right there. It's that's what I said, no one had guns.
Where was the army?
Yeah, there's a shock factor that, oh shit, that person looks just like me. But then your basic instinct should kick in survival mode, just like with Addie and her family. They didn't sit there and try to question why. It's just like, they're trying to kill us. So when you get to the scene where they get in the ambulance and that's really, you really get to see all of the dead bodies, you don't see any other humans. They're all dead.
Right.
Yeah,
so I find it hard to believe that only Addie and her family were the ones to be able to fight these doppelgangers.
Right. And then at the very, very end, you see them lined up and you see some helicopters, like apparently just filming it, I guess.
Yeah. Typical American way.
Were they red helicopters?
No.
Okay.
That would have been kind of cool.
I was trying to figure out who they were. Well, in the very beginning when that first guy who was holding the Jeremiah 11:11 sign?
Yes.
There was people all around him, taking videos with their phones.
Oh, the first one?
I think so. And you know,
But there's no way because it was
No.
1986.
no,
Yeah,
no,
not
no,
the
no,
very
no.
beginning.
When they drove into town, the one.
Oh, when he
where
was
she said-
dying.
yeah, where they said, "Look
Oh,
away,
yeah,
look
yeah.
Oh,
away."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what people do. You see someone dying or being picked up by an ambulance, you record it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's what we do. So that was something that was spot on. To me, what I took away the most from the film was how we enslave ourselves every single day. We're ants marching. Everyone's doing the same thing, but trying to be better than the person next to them, and you're willing to sacrifice anything to do it. That's my spiel, as the Jews would say.
Including your soul, right?
Yes, including you read my paper.
No,
Did
I
you?
didn't,
Oh,
no.
yeah, because I wrote that. I think you're copying. Yes, including you're willing to sell your soul, for the American dream.
It felt like the last season of Lost, where they had a great idea,
Right.
and then over time they just let the story fall apart, too complicated, and wrapped it up at the end, and everybody's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
And
Right.
didn't give you an explicit explanation,
Yeah.
which is what I think you need. Because if you're not doing that, it's just a cop out. You cannot sit here and say, "I'm going to do what could be a really cool story, but I'm going to leave it up to my audience to
figure
decide
it
what I
out."
meant." No,
Right.
that's a cop
No,
out.
fuck
That
that.
makes you a crap director, I don't think he is. I just think he didn't execute his plan exactly like he should have.
I think he was afraid of what do they call it?
The sophomore slump.
Yes, yes. I think he did it too much. But I'm gonna say this, Jordan. My husband and I, between the food, the margaritas, and the beer, we spent about $65 at the movies. The next time, I'm gonna need your ass at the end. You don't even have to use the actors. You can just have it typed up there. This is what this meant. Remember this part right here? This is what that meant. You remember that part with that scene? Okay, this is the explanation. Because this is just, now I'm more confused
Now
as we just try to
Did we
break it.
change your opinion on the movie?
Yeah, but I'll
now,
say it
you know
again.
what? Now it's The Village.
Oh,
yes.
yes,
because
Now it's The
bit.
Village.
That's what
Yeah.
really made me mad at Shyamalan, because I thought that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
And in that very end, I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you keep doing this?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Now it's The Village.
Well, what they have done to themselves, both Pill and Shyamalan, is that they have created a template for all of their movies.
Right.
When you really have to switch it up. Now, the first, let me see. You had, what was the first M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Sixth Sense.
Well, no, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable was first?
That was
Yeah,
first.
it
yes.
actually was.
Really?
And a
Okay.
lot of people did not know about him until after The Sixth Sense. So they're like,
Right,
oh, this
okay.
guy had another movie?
Mm.
Because I watched The Sixth Sense first and then went back and watched
Yeah.
Unbreakable. So then after The Sixth Sense, you had
Signs.
Signs.
Which was stupid.
No, I
No,
still
I like
like
that one.
Signs.
I like that
do
one,
too.
yeah.
And everything makes sense.
You may like it, but aliens killed by water. They landed on a planet
Yep.
that is blue because it's 70% water.
But they avoided the
Stupid.
water. They avoided
Stupid.
the water. I still like Signs. It still had that shock
Mhm.
factor. Then was it The Village?
Either Village or Lady in the Water. Probably Lady in the Water.
No, I think it was The Village.
Okay, probably.
So
Tell you what.
The Village was a great movie.
We're going to go down the line.
Until the very
Until you have, what was the girl's name? Bryce Dallas
Bryce
Howard.
Dallas Howard, yeah.
What was her character's name? I can't remember. But she was blind.
Yeah.
And she walked through woods.
But you know what?
Blind.
At least there was a specific ending to that. It was
Right.
explained.
It was explained, but it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Lady in the Water had a, okay, so
Okay,
Lady
well,
in the Water was his attempt to break away from his template. It did not do well at all, but it is one of my favorite
Mine
movies.
too.
I love
I
Lady in
really
the
enjoyed
Water.
it.
And then there were
So,
some
well,
others that didn't do well, but
I
then
got the list
the
here.
last one that he did was The Visit. Did you see that one?
Well, that was in 2015.
Okay, so The
No,
Visit
no,
was
I
the-
didn't. I
okay,
didn't,
so
yeah.
that's the two kids who go and visit the grandparents and all hell breaks
Yeah.
loose.
Yeah, that
So-
was pretty good.
That one's
Yeah.
pretty good too.
The
So
one
here's
we
the-
haven't talked about, I'll let you go with the list, but the one we haven't mentioned is the stupidest one ever that
Ooh.
really made me mad. He'll
Happening?
tell us. The Happening, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The trees
Is that
are
the one
killing
with
us.
Mark Wahlberg and John Leguizamo?
Right. I don't know
Yeah.
about John, but I know
He got
Wahlberg
killed
was
pretty
in-
early.
Yeah, he did. That's the one
Yeah,
where the
that
trees
one
are
was.
attacking us.
Yes, that one was
You
kind
got
of
the
odd.
list?
Okay,
So,
what's
yeah,
the
so
list of M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong over there? Because no one
So-
can ever pronounce his name right.
So I made one mistake. It was Sixth Sense first,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
then Unbreakable,
Okay.
We were
then
right.
Signs.
This often happens with producer James.
Yeah, it does. then The Village,
Okay.
Okay.
then Lady in the Water,
Okay.
Okay.
The Happening,
Okay.
The Last Airbender.
Never
Don't
saw
forget
it.
Oh God.
Which was
it
terrible.
it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all.
Then
Mm-mm.
After Earth.
That was
After
him.
Earth.
Will Smith and
He was a director.
I don't think I saw that one.
he probably didn't write it though.
No, he was a director.
Okay.
Will and Jaden Smith.
Well, he
right?
did the screenplay. He was part of the writer. He was one of the writers.
Okay.
Oh.
And then you had, Devil was after Last
Devil
Okay.
was pretty good.
I didn't see that one because
It's
I was
good.
tired of him, but I heard it was good.
It was a good
Yeah,
one.
that was okay.
I didn't go
that-
to the movie theater to watch it, but I watched it at home, and it was actually pretty good.
That's the one that they specifically left his name off of the marketing campaign they
Because
knew
his
everyone
reputation,
was tired of him.
yeah, and it's
Exactly,
a good one.
He was a producer on that one. Split. Split was good.
Oh,
was-
yeah, Split.
I like Split.
I didn't like Split.
Really?
You didn't like
No, because once again he wanted to do something at the end.
Mhm.
I just didn't really care for the character anyway.
You didn't?
Whatever his
Oh.
name was.
I thought it was
It was,
pretty good.
James McAvoy.
James
Yes,
McAvoy.
yeah. I
No,
thought
no,
it
no,
was
the
I
other
thought
one,
it was
right?
good.
The other one, not James
Or,
McAvoy.
not McAvoy.
No, that's who it was.
I thought
Yeah,
McAvoy was Magneto. It was Professor X.
That's him.
Yeah, Professor
That's-
X.
That's McAvoy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
because Michael Fassbender
Fox-
is
yeah.
Magneto.
And then what was the one after that?
Well, then Glass, which I haven't seen
I
yet.
haven't seen
but I
it
want to
either.
see.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So M. Night Shyamalan didn't have anything to do with Don't Breathe, right?
Ooh, I don't think so.
No,
Okay,
that was the
okay.
one with the veteran in the dark.
Right. That movie's
No,
badass.
No, that was good.
Yeah, the movie's really good.
That
is
wasn't
a must-see.
Shyamalan.
That was really good.
All right, so Mike, I'm gonna let you bring us to a close with our review of the movie Us.
Okay,
How many stars would you give it before you?
out of 5,
Mm-hmm.
2.
Wow,
Two, because all of the
really?
videos I watched afterwards with the theories and all that,
Yeah.
that's what's made me kind of warm up to it.
Dang,
But yeah.
2 stars.
2 is that's being generous.
I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
That's the passing grade. Yeah, it doesn't pass for me.
It's a C.
Yeah,
Yeah, a C plus. A C plus, Jordan.
and then a quarter of that 2 stars is also will they pronounce loonies or lunas? I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on
They
it.
did a good job of that.
The soundtrack was great. I really liked.
Yeah.
I actually when we got home, I looked up the soundtrack. Of course, producer James Whiteass he didn't know what I got 5 on it.
You didn't know that?
He had
I-
never heard that song before in his
Oh.
life.
I heard that song a million times. You don't.
He was
Escape
like
the
Jason in the
90s
back
by
trying to
hearing
get the beat. Yeah.
I think the preview that was better than the movie because that preview kind of freaked me out. I was like, how the hell did this man get me scared of listening to I Got 5 on it?
right?
And then the arrangement and the more orchestrated version of it.
Mhm.
I would love to have a copy of just that.
Yeah,
song
that's true.
If they have it.
It's on there. It's on the soundtrack.
The orchestration.
Mhm.
Oh,
Now I
okay.
didn't know that it had to do with drugs.
Of course.
I
Really?
didn't know that. No, I thought it was like, I'm back in your bet. I got 5 on it.
Oh no, he literally says
yeah.
weed.
Producer James, you're so white.
I know.
You like white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go on ahead, Mr. 1% African American over here.
No,
I
it's
thought-
6%.
6%.
6%.
We might be cousins.
Yes, yes. 47% Native, 6% African, and 1% Jew.
I knew I liked
And
you.
a bunch of
I knew I
European
liked
in
you.
there.
All right.
You know, man, I don't know if I would have said this on camera.
Go
You know what it
ahead.
had me thinking? Remember Dave Chappelle, the race draft,
Yes.
Yes.
and what Tiger Woods says? I was like, yeah.
I'm gonna do one of those, even though producer James was like, "Why?" Just because I'm black doesn't you don't know what's in down the line?
Especially America.
Yeah,
African-American.
and then especially if you see my kid who is high yellow. So somewhere down the line there was somebody who was black.
I would love for you to do that,
Mhm.
and I would hope you were like 70% Asian,
Mhm.
and then like somehow the black was so strong
Mhm.
that it wiped out all the Asian.
That could happen.
That would be
You
awesome.
know, if I find out I got Asian in me, everything is gonna be Asian.
So you
Oh,
do the
fucking-
opposite
oh,
of
you will
what,
be
Tiger
Mulan.
said.
Yeah, everything is gonna be Asian all
Oh my
the way.
God.
I'm gonna be walking around like this. That's
With a kimono.
Egyptian. Yeah, with a kimono. Yes, with the geisha face and all of that.
You will be Black Mulan, Blue Line.
Blue line. Yeah, pretty much. All right, Mike. All
All
right,
right.
so let's wrap this one up.
Okay. Yeah, I gave it 2 stars. Wait for DVD.
Ooh.
Wait for the DVD. No, I'm sorry. Don't buy the DVD. Wait for it to come out on the movie channel or Redbox. Rent it. Don't buy it.
Damn you, old
Damn.
DVD.
Well, I think we have pretty much summed up. I think we hit all the points
I think
about
we've
the
totally
movie.
destroyed it.
Yeah, I think so. Jordan Peele gonna be like, cease. He's gonna send us like, don't talk about the movie anymore. Not
Nope.
not the three of you.
But I'll be there for his next one. I think he's a good up and coming young director. I like his work for the most part. I'm happy that he's doing stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, you got to be able to fail sometimes, and
Most
you
definitely.
learn from your failures. And I'm sure his next movie will be just as good as the other two before this one.
Just don't fail as many times as M. Night Shyamalan did.
No.
Okay, we will be right back. And before Mike leaves, we're going to play a round of Would You Rather. We'll be right back. Mike, it was really great having you here tonight. We have to do this more often.
We do.
So what is going on with Manticore Media? Fill us in.
Well, as some of you may know, I had the Manticore Media podcast for a while, and let me personally thank y'all for opening your home and your
Absolutely.
studio for me to do that. It's on a hiatus right now because I need to recollect and gather myself I'm going to change the format up a little bit.
Okay.
But you can find it on YouTube at Manticore Media, or you can look up our Facebook page, which is also Manticore Media, and you can watch our videos there. I've been doing a few vlogs. I'm trying to at least keep that up to kind of keep up to date, have some stuff going. Had some pretty good views. I've gone out and met a couple of wrestlers.
Oh,
at
nice.
the different autograph signing events, and a lot of
I saw
people have
that.
responded to those videos.
Perfect.
So
That's what we want.
we're having fun there, but hopefully we'll bring back the podcast soon. I think I'm gonna go in more of a morning show type of format.
Okay.
So I'll let you know. Hopefully we can come back with y'all to do a couple every now and then.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I could sit, you know me, we can sit here and chat about stuff that other people don't give a shit about all the time.
Hey, well, you're welcome anytime.
Yes, absolutely.
Anytime,
I can't
anytime.
wait.
I really wish I had done an Oscar podcast episode, but I didn't have anyone who had watched as many movies as I had to talk to about
I don't think there is another person on earth.
Yeah, well, you know, my Movie Pass subscription finally expired. I looked it up. I did 47 movies last year.
And people say James and I are bad.
And then on Christmas break, I think 14 days in a row, I watched movies as well.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a movie lover. Mike he puts me to shame because people always make fun of me and James are like, y'all always go to the movies. I'm like, it's my happy place.
Yeah.
I just love going to the movies. So make sure to check out Manticore Media on YouTube and on Facebook. So instead of bitch please, we're going to do a round of Would You Rather. You ready? You're scared, aren't you?
I don't know. It depends.
Producer James, you're gonna play too. So okay, we're gonna start off nice and slow. I'm
remember,
trying to look over here.
I work with the government, so I got an image to uphold.
Well, you better tell them don't watch the show. All right, would you rather eat a hamburger or a hot dog?
Hamburger.
Producer James?
Hamburger.
Okay. You know me, I would rather eat a hot dog.
I believe that.
I love hot dogs.
They're kind of nasty.
I love hot
I can't eat them.
dogs.
Well, because my allergy.
Yeah, well, because a lot of
Nitrates?
them have chicken
No,
products.
chicken. I'm allergic to poultry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And
I love
that's-
hot dogs. I could eat a hot dog every day. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I can do
just love
chili
them.
dogs. Plain hot dogs, I'm not a fan
Oh,
of.
well, yeah, it has to have chili on. Well, no,
Okay.
I take that back because if it just has cheese and ketchup and some sweet relish, I'm a happy girl.
If it's a good quality wiener, maybe so.
The cheaper the
Not-
wiener,
not
the
a
better
cheap
for
one,
me.
no.
I don't know.
Yeah, tell me
shut,
about it.
Shut up, James. Okay. All right, here we go. Would you rather announce to everyone around you every time you farted, or would you rather pee in your pants?
I already tell everybody when I fart anyway. Like it makes a difference.
So you'd be okay with announcing when you
I'd be
fart.
fine, yeah.
Producer James,
I'd rather
your
just pee
farts
my
announce
pants.
themselves.
Yeah, I'd rather just pee my pants and get over
Really?
with.
Really?
Well, the way you worded it, would you rather announce everyone every time you farted?
Yes.
Or just pee your pants?
So you just rather just pee in your pants and get it over with?
If it's a one-time thing, yeah.
That's funny because he's actually peed in the bed before.
Hmm.
Yeah, remember?
Yes.
He might have been drunk though, right?
He
No.
had a dream that he had to pee. One
I
of
had a pee
those
dream.
situations.
You know, I had a
Yeah.
pee dream once too, and I swore that I did. I didn't. I got up and I made it to the toilet in time, but that was the most realistic pee dream I'd ever had.
I had a pee dream, and it was warm and comfortable. And sure enough, it was warm and comfortable in the bed at the same time. It
Don't-
was the weirdest thing.
Don't you have sleep apnea though? Didn't I hear you say
Not
that?
anymore.
Not anymore
No?
since he's lost weight.
Okay.
No. No
Damn,
way.
I was. That's how I was gonna get rich. Was with that sleep apnea. He was just gonna die in his sleep one night, and I collect the insurance money. But he lost weight, and he doesn't have it anymore. Okay, would you rather not have elbows or not have knees? That really makes you
Wow.
think about like what all you need your elbows and your knees for.
My knees are pretty bad, so I'll get rid of my knees.
Get rid of your
yeah,
knees?
because you know all the things you do with your hands.
Yeah, producer James.
Cotton Hill from King of the Hill did pretty well without
Right.
shins. So I'm gonna lose my knees because
Okay.
I can't go through life with Tyrannosaurus arms. That's just nothing will work.
Like CeeLo Green.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, like CeeLo Green.
I see you driving around town. Yeah, we love you, CeeLo. Okay, next. Would you rather have diarrhea for the next 3 months or be constipated for the next 3 months?
Whew. As a man
Wow.
who is lactose intolerant, I will tell you that I will actually take the diarrhea
Okay.
because at least you're passing it out. You're not staying bloated. You got that constipation. You're bloated.
It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Producer James?
I'm gonna go with constipated.
Really?
Yep, because you can always get a long spoon and fix it.
That's
You
so
can't
disgusting.
just stop having diarrhea.
I'll do diarrhea because at least I would lose weight. Like after the 3 months, I probably be like 100 pounds smaller. So, okay. Would you rather have 500 spiders crawling around your house or 1,000 crickets jumping around the house? Remember, it's bad luck to kill a cricket.
cricket. I'll take a cricket.
You take 1,000 crickets over 500 spiders?
Yeah, because lots of spiders are poisonous. I don't
Mhm.
want to take that risk. And crickets are fine. I mean, they're
They're
noisy,
noisy.
but
And 1,000 of them.
yeah, that's not very many.
Okay.
Where are they? Where is
Just
each
in your
one at?
house.
Oh, just in your house.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take spiders
You take. I
Yeah.
think I would take spiders too.
because spiders will eventually cut down the potential number of every other insect in the house. I'm okay with spiders.
I think I would have to do the spiders too.
All the spider, like every morning I walk into a spider web and it gets
Yeah.
in my hair. I hate it. So yeah.
I
give me
just
the
crickets. I can't do crickets. I can't do the noise and the jump, and then I'm afraid if I step on one, I'm gonna have what is it? You have 7 years bad luck, or it's bad luck to kill a cricket.
I think if you step on a cricket and break a mirror.
Shut up. All right, here's the last one. And Mike, you know I had to throw in a sex thing.
Okay.
If you work with my just turn it off right now. Okay. All right, this is the last one. Would you rather have anal sex for the rest of your life or have to jack off for the rest of your life?
It's funny you say have to jack off. That's kind of a given.
Which one would you rather do for the rest of your life? Have anal sex or jack off?
Taking or giving. It matters.
I know it kind of does. I guess you would have to be giving. So you would only be able to have anal sex with your partner, or you would have to jack yourself off for the rest of your life.
Is both?
No,
Oh.
Mike, you answer.
Those are your only two choices.
Those are only two choices. And let me just say this: if you really think about it, we're gonna Jordan Peele the hell out of this one. If you really think about it, if you have to have anal sex with your partner for the rest of your life, that's not gonna. It's gonna keep stretching. It's gonna get looser. It's just.
So can I find the tethered version, which would be tight again? I'm just curious. How
In
this
Jordan
works.
Peele's world, yes.
Yeah.
Mike, we're not gonna let you get away with
No,
answering that one.
Oh man.
Your wife's gonna kill you.
Yeah. I'll have to take the first option, I guess.
So you would rather have anal sex than have to jack off for the rest of your life?
I'm giving it, right? I'm not receiving it.
You're giving it. Yes.
Oh man, I was gonna have some family listen to this podcast, and
They want to know too.
no, sure, yes, yeah, fine, yeah.
So Mike would rather have anal sex for the rest of his life.
No. He would rather give it.
Yes.
Oh yes. Let's clarify.
Not
that.
there's anything wrong with that. I don't care
Yes,
who wants to do
we
what.
want to clarify.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just making sure
Yes.
Genie in the bottle here is not trying to trick me.
No, not at all. Producer James.
I think I'd rather jack off the rest of my life.
I think if I had to pick, I would have to pick jack off for the rest of my life. But
If that was the only
those are
option.
your only options.
So no blowjobs, no vaginal.
No.
It's just
yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take.
I think
jack
I'd
off.
rather jack off. But I will say this, Mike. That would help out with that constipation for 3 months right there.
Well, I'm taking the diarrhea, so I'm gonna,
Oh well, then it just.
I mean, that would help
Well,
James
see,
in
the
his
problem is-
situation.
well, the problem is,
Right?
if your partner also chose the diarrhea, that would be terrible.
Was
horrible.
It was nonstop, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, I'll take suicide. I'll take a shotgun
That
blast in
wasn't
the
an
face.
option.
All righty. Mike's face is turning red. I can tell he's not breathing currently. So, again, thanks to our special guest, Mike Navarro. Make sure to check out Manticore Media on YouTube and Facebook. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.